Well, g'day, folks. How are you? Hope you're having a pretty good sort of a Thursday. Hope your first week of January 2024 isn't treating you too badly. I know in a lot of areas it is treating you pretty piss poorly. Sadly, areas of the Gold Coast still without power and still being cleaned up. And I'm sure the same is said for far north Queensland. I haven't been able to talk to my friends that live in far, far north Queensland. Because they were pretty much pelted by Jasper, and I'm led to believe that power, phones, and the like up there are probably pretty hard to get to at the moment. So thoughts are still with all those people suffering from power outages and losses. Pardon me. Now, speaking of losses, let me share this with you. Now, I spoke about this the other night with Camillo. This is the community village that Camillo is setting up along with my place, Nambour, Greg from Noosa and Caloundra, and of course there are a plethora of other ones on the Sunshine Coast that are involved in this as well. I think all up now there might even be 11 or so of my places on the Sunshine Coast. It's an amazing effort and being led by 2 or 3 guys in particular, Camillo, Greg leading the pack there. Now, as we were talking with Camillo in the last show, this community village that you can see here is one hell of a project, and coming up starting tomorrow and going through till Saturday if needs be, we're having a bit of a working bee. Now that working bee, as we were talking about, I'll just put this cleanup sign up here for you so we can pull that down. If you can help us, come tomorrow 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. anytime between then, and bring some rakes, picks, whippersnippers, blowers, brooms, I don't know, whatever you can bring to help clean up the area of the old Tewantin TAFE is what we're talking about here. Now, 24 Karoi Noosa Road is the address in Tewantin. It's on the north side of the golf club. Very easy to find. Gets underway at 9 o'clock. I will see you there. Looking forward to being part of it. Speaking to Camillo today, and I got to tell you, folks, pretty bloody disappointing to discover that there are people who have, well, maybe they didn't watch this show, but odds are them or someone they know watched this bloody show and heard what was going on, because in the 24 hours or so between yesterday and this morning or early this afternoon when the guys went back to the site, some thieving bastards have come in, one suspects probably overnight, and have chopped down all the light poles that lined the road, the access road, coming into the car park area. Now, the poles are gone. Everything's gone. Clearly, these people are stripping out copper. They're stripping out the copper wire, trying to make an extra $1 out of that. And they got wind, one suspects, that there was going to be a lot of people on site and a bit more, action going into that area. So if they were ever going to go and get it, they had to get in quick. And that's what the bastards did. So they've gone in. They've cut down all the light poles that lined the road leading into and other poles through the car park, everything. Now, these real Ironsteins used a trolley to wheel the poles out after they'd chopped them, which is clever. They won't be able to use it again because we found the trolley. What these imbeciles do not understand is that there has been a great deal of interest in this ground for some time, and Camillo and his team have taken a great deal of interest in what's at the site, what needs fixing. There was a big meeting today about how they're going to coordinate what happens in the working bees tomorrow, making sure that people are site safe and that kind of thing. Speaking of which, if you are going to come along and give us a hand, we'd love to see you. We will throw on a barbecue. So be prepared. It'll be, sausages and bread, that kind of thing. So if you're not up for a sausage and bread, you better bring your own. We'll see. Well, we can give you the bread, unless it's white bread, in which case you probably won't eat it. So, look, if you're difficult to feed, bring something for yourself, and bring plenty of water. There will be a lot of water on site, but just make sure you've always got some water close by for you. Yeah, these bastards who think that they can just come on site and look, the site has been pillaged for copper, without a doubt. They have taken out the copper out of the hot water services. They've taken copper out of the air conditioning systems. They've really stripped the joint. And I'm just disappointed that they would go and do that, given what Camillo and the team from Sunshine Coast, My Place, and the community village team are trying to build there. It's just, I hate thieves that steal from the poor even more than I hate thieves. And I'm disgusted by it. So anyway, if you can come and help us, rest assured, if you are planning on coming back tonight and having a go, or any subsequent nights from now on, you better smile while you're doing it, because you will be on candid camera. And in fact, the guys who perpetrated this little piece of bullshit might just find themselves getting a call from the local constabulary, because the cameras went in, well, as soon as it was understood that the land was going to be granted in the team's favour. So if you've been on that land since last Tuesday, then odds are you're on a video. In fact, you're probably on a number of video cards. So I'm going up early to have a bit of a look. We'll see what we can find, hey? Be nice if we can share those number plates and faces with ladies and gentlemen of the constabulary. I don't expect they'll do anything, but, we'll try and do the right thing. But I hate thieves. So here's a warning. Don't ever get caught on that property again. There could be dire consequences. The thing about thieves is, and if you are a thievery type, I want you to consider this. I caught one once in my house. And he was a bit shocked that he wasn't copping an immediate flogging. Instead, I was very cool, calm, and collected, and I just walked around locking doors and closing windows and pulling curtains over in the room that he was in, that I caught him in. And he didn't understand what was going on until I said the words, "Nobody knows you're here, do they?" And if you put a menacing look on your face and you say it in a mean, nasty voice, it can sound like you're the serial killer's house they've walked into. And that's pretty much what this young fella thought. So it was a hell of a lot of fun, I've got to say, because he freaked. He was quite panicked. He was fighting for his life there at one stage. The sad part about it was that while his life wasn't in any danger, I shared the house at the time with a copper. So we made a bit of noise in that sort of short intervening time, and my housemate came downstairs and apprehended him. So he actually, I think, went to my mate, the copper, willingly, trying to tell him that I was a serial killer and was going to chop him up into little pieces, and nobody was ever going to find him again. I don't know where he would have got that idea. No idea at all. So thieves, yes. Tell someone where you're going, maybe. Tell someone who you're planning to rob, or does that go against what you're doing? Because you get caught somewhere you shouldn't. Bad things can happen. People have fallen down mine shafts. It's awful. Bad things happen in the dark. Thank you, Tim. Love to see you tomorrow, folks. If you can come and join us, 24 Corroy-Noosa Road to Wanton. It's just north of the golf club, and it gets underway from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. We'll get as much done as we can tomorrow, and then Saturday, God and weather willing, we'll finish up what we can get done in 2 days. There's a lot more to do, but clearly there'll be a lot of graffiti stripping to happen in coming weeks. What sort of tools and implements can you bring? Look, rakes, shovels, blowers, Don't forget to bring chargers for your blowers. So it's all good to bring a blower, or petrol if you have one of those petrol-driven blowers, even better. I don't know about chainsaws and that sort of thing. I'm unaware of any major chainsawing stuff, that no trees or anything that have to be brought down. I think you should make sure you bring the appropriate safety equipment, be that something for your eyes, something for your hands, and always something on your feet. I would also, err on the side of caution and probably wear long pants if you have that option, because there is the odd Joe Blake around, and most of the bites that happen sort of above the ankle and below the knee. So if you're wearing a pair of pants, just a pair of jeans, and you happen to run into something like an Eastern Brown, you should be aware Eastern Brown's fangs are very, very small, very, very small. Well, yes, okay, they are the second or third most dangerous venomous snake in the world. In fact, most venomous land animal in Australia behind the taipan. They've only got very, very small fangs, so they get caught up in the denim if you're wearing denim jeans, and unless you're wearing really tight denim jeans, then they're not likely to be able to penetrate that denim. Or better still, if you've got socks and boots on underneath it, going to protect yourself from just about everything. So not saying we're likely to find too many snakes, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Bring whatever you can. If you can bring a bobcat and a little truck, that'd be really useful. Really, really useful. We would love to avail you of your generosity if you can supply that. And dumping fees, if you're going to bring a trailer, dumping fees are going to be handled, I believe, by Greg and the team from my place in Nambour. I think they've had a chat with the council, so hopefully there will be some way we can organise something good there. Now, here's something I was going to bring up, but Pete's beaten me to it. Don't forget to buy the bullion. There's a bit of a dip in the price at the moment. Buy on the way down, and obviously enough, sell on the way back up. That's a pretty big ratio, silver-gold ratio, 88 to 1. Thanks, Pete. I guess while we're looking at that, I might just see if I can have a glance at the current price. And gold is sitting at $3,033 per ounce at the moment. And it looks like silver is sitting at just a tad over 34. Platinum is at 1438, and the Australian dollar is trading at 67 US. So that's the current story. Yep, it is cheap per now, but you might recall when we had Paul on from Ainsley only a couple of weeks ago, it was up around $38, $39. So maybe if you sold then, you did well, but I'd be hanging on to it. If you've got it, hang on to it, would be my take on that. Love to see you tomorrow. I'm going to say this is going to be a reasonably short show, folks, only because I am going to head up to the Sunshine Coast tonight. I'll find somewhere on the side of the road to pull over and have a kip and be there bright and early tomorrow morning for the kickoff. So if you are going to come and join us, 9 a.m., 24 Karoi Noosa Road, Tewantin, that's the place. Look forward to seeing there. You'll undoubtedly be able to see me because there is a bloody huge bus. Did you see this? Chappelle Corby, she won the internet, I've got to say, a couple of days ago this happened. You may not be able to read that quietly, but Dave Warner had his bag of baggy greens stolen, or at least misplaced, via Qantas. And he's tweeted out in the hope that somebody might return it to him. Chappelle Corby's answered his tweet with Qantas. Ha! Well, do I have a story for you? I just thought you might like to share that. That's bloody beautiful. Here's the story doing the rounds today. It's actually been doing the rounds now for a couple of years. If you actually think back, we were talking about how after the Queen died, Charles would be made king but would abdicate. Well, now there is actually real, honest to God, in the mainstream media stories about it. and he's planning a meeting with William and Kate amid these abdication rumours. Now, some of the things that I've read and heard today indicate that he is just wanting to make a clean break and believes that William and Kate will be the breath of fresh air the monarchy requires. He realises he's not either up for the job or the people aren't going to accept him. And this little tour of his that they're planning with her next year, her being the horse he married, what's her name? Camilla, that is being touted as a farewell tour in certain quarters. So would be interesting to see what goes on there. The last couple of days, the world has been on edge waiting for the release of some Jeffrey Epstein documents. Well, not some, all the Jeffrey Epstein documents. Now, it turns out not all the documents have been released. There is Jane Doe 107 who has put in a request to not have the documents released in full, including her name and the details of whatever she was involved with, under the guise that it might mean that her life comes under threat and she will not be able to live in her country where she lives because the danger will be so high. So at least those have not come to light. There has been a lot of talk about Jeffrey Epstein, and initially I think one of the first ones that I saw was Trump traveled twice on Epstein's jet. Later on in the day, begrudgingly, mainstream media had to report that Trump had never traveled with Epstein at all on the jet, and the jet had only ever traveled between, I think it was New York and Florida, or Boston and New York, for the two flights. And both times it was just the Trump family on board. So that's sort of taken Trump out of that argument. There has also been some suggestions that Bill Clinton was never on the island. Yes, he flew in the jet many, many times, but was never on the island. But now that is on shaky ground. However, it is interesting to see how the mainstream American media is playing that, and under the fair use policy, I'm going to play this bit from mainstream now.
Read you what these documents say, but then we're going to talk about the context. First document with Bill Clinton, it's a deposition from Joanna Schoberg, who said that Clinton likes young girls. And I'm going to read this to you. The question during the deposition, if we can get it up, did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Bill Clinton? And she responds, he said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. This is new. Give us the context.
Yeah, this is new. Obviously, a really salacious statement. However, you got to keep in mind where this is coming from. This is coming from Joanna Schoberg's deposition. It's her account of the events. And even from the exact language that you just read, it's Epstein told her that Bill Clinton said this, right? So it's a chain of information. It's not direct knowledge about something that Bill Clinton said directly to her. Keep in mind of who she is in this whole grand scheme of things. She's someone who is an alleged victim or potentially a co-conspirator. We don't know. We do know, however, that she did offer up testimony, at least she said so publicly, to the FBI in 2019. So much of what we see here may already have been in the hands of law enforcement for vetting later on. But remember, this particular case, this never went to trial. So this deposition testimony wasn't necessarily challenged in the context of a trial.
I don't know if you caught it in there or not, but when she outlines that, she's saying that Epstein told, or Clinton told Epstein, Epstein told her, that wasn't exactly or anything like what actually happened. The context of the conversation was she was talking to Epstein. Epstein volunteered. Clinton liked young ones. Now, given that Epstein was providing young women, and one might assume men, all over the world for what is clearly now a spying operation or a blackmailing operation, this leftist tard is trying to bend the truth and make excuses to say that, oh, this girl who had all these charges and said all these things, well, that case never came to trial. It was never tested. Well, there's a reason it never came to trial. And I think we will find those reasons out in the not too distant future. There is also another video going around now about the Wiener laptop and the evidence that was found on the Wiener laptop. I haven't watched it all yet, and I will watch it with a mind not to upset you by having something too horrific. You'll never be able to sleep again playing in your ears forever. So I've only just seen it just before I came on, so I haven't actually had time to look at it. It's about 9 or 12 minutes long or something. So I'll have a look. If there's anything too bad, I won't share it with you. I'll tell you about it, but I might put it up somewhere on a secure site. So if you want to go and have a look, you probably could. But I'll just see what it is first. It might not even be something that good. Last night, I was dealing yesterday with a whole heap of issues with the vehicle, the bus. I'd like to have it up and going and heading off for this weekend, obviously, heading up to the working bee. And there were a few issues with power. So there was a leak somewhere where it's draining batteries. And I needed to repower the whole thing back up again. So I charged all the batteries back up from dead scratch and gave her a bit of a sprucing up. Still needs a little bit of sprucing. We'll see how we go. Haven't found a truck wash close to me yet, so it's a bit hard to get onto it. But I will give her a wash, or God will, one of the two. And God willing, we'll be up at Tewantin tomorrow morning for the thing. So anyway, yesterday, I'd spent my day crawling around and underneath this bus, playing around, electrocuting myself. It was it was a day. So when I came home, around the time I'd normally do a show, I was actually asleep. So my apologies for that. When I came to, I've got a computer that I set up pretty much to monitor the national weather radar, and it was showing some interesting things. This is last night, and if you have a bit of a look, you will see that station there in Western Australia in the middle. Now, I've since come to learn that is Giles Weather Station. They launch weather balloons from there, and, well, clearly they have a couple of interesting and fun sort of pulsing, well, I don't know what we're going to call it. But you can also see that over on the right side of the nation, this is sort of somewhere around Goondiwindi that's emanating from and going up to Nilibilla-Wheeler. So they had these two beams working, and today's weather is not a very interesting indication of what was going on. I think, anyway, they're heating the atmosphere there, and they're trying to herd storms in a certain way. So that was last night. Now, just before I came on air, I had another little look and saw this happening. This is an interesting one out of Texas, or around Texas. And I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that is another beam shooting up to Taroom. It's either just not got lots of radar return for, maybe there's nothing in the atmosphere for it to react off. But this one coming out of Texas is a whole different color. Well, it's not coming out of Texas. It's sort of overshooting it. But there is some weird shit going on with our weather. Weird shit going on with our weather. So coming out of Texas, that strange sort of blue aqua colored thing, and it was a fairly short but looked very intense pulse. And then the one in, what looks to be coming out of sort of somewhere south of Goondiwindi, and shooting its way almost up to Taroom. We know, of course, there's a fun little toy in Taroom to play with. That one just hasn't been switched on for the last little while. So, interesting what they're doing with the weather wars at the moment. Whether or not they're doing good or doing bad, I have no idea. But I can tell you, folks, if you've got a spare computer screen you can put up somewhere, put up the bomb on the national weather site, and the same sort of images don't update very often. They used to update every 20 minutes or so, but now we don't see them updating for maybe an hour at times. A lot can happen in that hour. I was actually watching last night when the Giles one turned off. It had been going for an hour and a half, as long as I'd been watching it go anyway. And just while I had my attention on Texas, all of a sudden it was gone. So switch on, switch off, wax on, wax off. So very, very unpleasant. Chris, I saw this one pop up earlier. How's the juicing going? Is it working for me? Yes, it is. I am really, really enjoying the juicing. So what am I doing at the moment? Celery, apple, a bit of ginger, and some carrots. And I love it. I don't know what it is about the ginger. It almost gives it an effervescent feel to me. And no, I'm not putting lemonade in it. Really, really nice. So I also know Skipper Pete disappeared off and found himself the exact same juicer that I've got. And he has launched himself with some vigor into the celery juice. This morning, I think, was his first big day. So I'd spoken to him where he was just, lamenting how interesting the grass tasted. But he hadn't experienced its full benefit yet, should we put it that way. Don't know what he had on today, but I hope it wasn't too much. I really hope it wasn't too much. Elizabeth, thank you very much for your sticker. God bless you. Happy New Year. Let me have a little bit of a look down here. I didn't get time to go through and see if there are any good questions start up earlier. Dusty, couldn't agree more. What sort of bastards? Because they obviously knew there's going to be some people coming in. There's going to be a lot of work being done around the site. There's not going to be much of an opportunity to get this shit out anymore. And, there's, I don't know, how much copper, how much wire in those lights. They've taken the poles as well. They're not going to do much with the pole, but those lights, although scrap steel, those poles will probably be steel, scrap steel. I'll get money for that too. I'd be very interested if you're a scrap metal merchant on the sunny coast asking for help from a scrap metal merchant. All I've got is visions of Steptoe and Son coming through my mind. You got anybody turning up with a whole bunch of light poles that they're looking to scrap? Be really interested in knowing who they are. Really interested. We'll have pictures. We might be able to match that up. See how we go. G'day, 10 Cent. G'day, Phil. Tim, nice to see you around. Yeah, thieving bastards, Tim. Nothing but the truth. I hope you're doing all right, brother. Yes, it could get vandalized again after the cleanup. Yes, it will, but those that vandalize it will be on candid camera. And those cameras will be live, so they can expect friends coming to join them. Well, I don't think the friends that join them are going to be terribly friendly, put it that way. But, like I say, you wouldn't want to get caught somewhere you weren't meant to be. Unless you're telling people, oh, look, I'm just going over there to do some shit to an old property that nobody cares about anymore. And then you just don't get seen again. That'd be awful because, you could fall down a septic tank system, a lot of washaways at the moment with the water, awful things happening. It's got to be made safe. That's why we're going on the site. Got to make the site safe for everybody. And rest assured, you won't be able to walk around far or anywhere without being seen on that site. Rest assured. So from last Tuesday was the beginning, but it is certainly not the end. I would caution anybody who had those sorts of ideas. And of course, once it's actually open, there will be plenty of people on site who I would hope would treat the facility pretty much as their own home, because it essentially will be that for many people. Now, if you're going to treat it like a shithouse, you won't be staying there very long. If you can respect the communal areas and and I imagine look after your own site, then you'll be very welcome. You'll have to be involved in the community aspects of what's going on there, and that will be keeping the site clean, safe, secure, being involved in plantings, being involved in harvestings, being involved in maybe teaching, learning, whatever. The markets will be, if you're a crafty type person, then you can sit down for a week and build up whatever you'd like, and then offer it up for sale at the markets at the end of the week or the month, however it's going to work. So plenty of opportunities for people who want somewhere safe to be around good people, and it will be good people. Camillo and Greg, the My Place team on the Sunshine Coast, are playing lead in this, and they couldn't do it without the support of the Cubby Cubby people and the elders from that tribe who've given up, or at least handed over, their native title claim on that land to Camillo as caretaker while all this is being put back together again. They really are 100% behind the initiative of the community village, and very excited to get it going. Now we've just got to keep the thieving bastards out of it, or if they want to come in, well, come in. Pay your money, take your chances. There might be better people than me that find you and take you to the coppers. But I think staying out would be probably the best thing. Yeah, how Masonic does that pick look? Yeah, yes, there is a bit of that in there. Right, let me have a bit of a glance down here. I would talk about the cricket today, but I don't know how it really ended up. Yeah, good, Pete. Those dollar coins might be something more than worth something more than junk. All right, there's a thought. So I'm just trying to scan and see if anybody's got any direct questions for me. If you are coming tomorrow, folks, remember to bring gloves, something for your eyes, something for your feet. Wear long pants if you're half smart. If it's a sunny day, you'll wear long sleeves as well. Don't forget to be sun smart, slip, slop, and slap. You're not terribly far from some of the best beaches in the world. So I believe tomorrow's going to be about 30 degrees and the humidity be, nice, normal Northern Sunshine Coast humidity. It'll be worthy of a swim maybe a little later in the afternoon. That'll be one of the first times you'd see me getting out and getting into a beach, but in a long time. But I think tomorrow might require a swim after all is said and done, because I'm going to stink a bit. You reckon those weather balloons are made in China? Sorry, Hill. Yep, the weather balloon's coming out of the Giles Weather. It's also a meteorite discovery center. I do have, just haven't uploaded it, but I do have a picture, a satellite picture of it. I've got to say, if you were tasked to go to that place, you must have done something real wrong somewhere, or you work in a very, very, very secure and secretive environment, because I mean it is thousands of kilometers from anywhere. I haven't gone in on Google Earth myself yet to have a really good look, but there must be a little airstrip there, because there ain't no way those folks are driving in and out. It'd take them a week each way, and that's probably just to get to bitumen. So yeah, Robert Deutsch is on Facebook. Yes, I know Robert. Well, Robert and I have had interactions. He is very, very good with our weather. He is a savant when it comes to our weather, Robert, and I wouldn't doubt what he says in one instance. I haven't watched. I did watch something of him the other day. He got carried away, got very upset at somebody about something. I don't know. I didn't care. Stopped watching. But yes, I'm pleased to see that he has supposedly calmed down a bit, which is great. I'm pleased that. That's an interesting one, Sunflower. I didn't hear about that one. Huge fires in Canberra, floods in Tassie. Okay, well, let's have a look at that national weather map and see see what's brewing up down there. I'll get a hold of Black Sheep. I don't know if he's in tonight. He'll give us an idea of whether or not there's anything blowing up in Tasmania, or they've got a few other Tassie friends down there. Speaking of Tassie, I was trying to book to come to Tasmania in March and spend maybe 2 or 3 weeks in March, and then come back, do a little bit through Victoria, New South Wales, and be back for the Byron Bay Blues Festival, where some people are catching up. Hopefully we'll be able to do something from the car park or the camping area. I'm not sure about the legalities of where you can stream and where you can't out there yet, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But there'll be some interesting guests coming along to that one if that all happens. But I went and had a look at the Spirit of Tasmania, because I thought this time I'll take the motorhome over and won't have to inflict myself on Black Sheep. And well, it seems like Tassie's a pretty popular place to go, and getting the motorhome on there, well, that's one thing. I can get it on there in early March, but I can't get it back until June. Unless I misread it somehow, somewhere. But I'm pretty confident the website wouldn't let me get any kind of return out of it. So Tasmania, might have to rethink that and try and book it for a time when I can get a return out of it. So we'll go to work and think about that. It's also bloody expensive. I think towing a trailer, it was going to cost about $1,100 or $1,200 each way. So, an expensive little trip to Tassie if you're taking a motorhome, folks. Things you learn. Sunflower, don't say that to me. Oh, now I'll be really interested to have a look at those cameras. Because if it's council trucks in there doing that, well, no, I don't think it was anybody official, because we know that they used this trolley thing to wheel them out, so they didn't bring a truck up, chop it, and throw it on the truck kind of thing. So, we know they used a trolley thing to wheel them out, and we've got the trolley. Thieves, bastards, and especially ones that steal from the poor, although they probably just think they're stealing from the government. But it's just interesting, the timing. You know, all of a sudden, those light posts have been sitting there forever. All of a sudden, you know, and they were watching, because there's been a lot of activity on the site, as you would imagine, over the last couple of weeks, and or last few months, if I'm honest. And they must have been watching, and to know that there was, you know, this working bee coming up, which wasn't only just advertised here. It's been promoted through Facebook and through Camillo's other contacts, and through my place. So, you know, it's possible that Thieves don't watch this show, please God. But anyway, it'd be nice if they came and gave us a bit of a hand cleaning up tomorrow, you know, rather than going off to the scrap merchant dealer and taking their stolen goods, and probably going to the pub to piss it up against a wall, or, you know, buy a new tinny, which I suppose is important in somebody's life. So good on them. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Phil. I keep forgetting to say that. Like and subscribe, as the Aussie Cossack would say. If you haven't already done so, folks, if you haven't already gone and joined over on the Rumble channel, you can find me under Ozai and or Voice of Freedom. There are 2 channels. So Ozai, I think, has about 600 odd subscribers. The other one's got 3,000 or 4,000, I think. So that's where we will always be. If you can't find us on any of the YouTube channels, we will definitely be going to air there. It also seems that we are now broadcasting on Twitter, or X as they call it. They're now allowing live streaming. So the last couple of shows I've been sending out there. So hello to anybody on X if you're watching. Woohoo. We've also been going out on Project Matilda. Tonight I stuffed up the process, and we didn't go out on Project Matilda, but Project Matilda, Rumble, and the Unity Hub. So if you're not already part of the My Place Unity Hub, we're not on the Unity Hub tonight. I forgot to hit the button. But most nights we will be able to be found in the Unity Hub live as well. So go and join the Unity Hub. It's, cup of coffee a week That simple. $60 a year, and it is just a brilliant platform to be part of. It's much better than Flogbook, and censorship will only happen if you are being an absolute flog and posting things that general people would find tremendously offensive, and if you're carrying on like a pork chop. I don't think outside of that, your freedom of speech is something we always fight for. So go and be part of the Unity Hub with my place, and I'm looking forward to catching up with Darren and the team there. They've got a lot of things they're working on behind the scenes at the moment for this year, and hopefully the Voice of Freedom will be able to play a role in that. Fires in the capital city, Jindalee. Yeah, look, maybe you weren't here, or maybe you don't recall, but Canberra had some big fires 20 years ago, I want to say. Really big fires. In fact, 20 years ago, I was in Canberra, so it was before then. Oh, God, it's 30 years ago I was in Canberra, so it's probably 35 years ago that a lot of Canberra was burnt out. It was a hell of a burnt mess. Unfortunately, didn't burn the right places. Just got the good people's homes, I think, rather than the thieving bastards that live in the hill. But it did make a hell of a mess of Canberra, and it would be interesting should another fire happen there. It's certainly very dry, and the winds can rip through off the Brindabellas there. It'll blow a fire up in a big way. I certainly hope that doesn't happen. But just in the last few days, I've seen evidence of green lasers in lightning. The lightning flashes, the green laser sweeps. It's quite strange. I haven't shown it to you yet because I'm significantly doubtful enough of it to believe that it's a CGI kind of an effect. It's just really chintzy, so I haven't bothered showing you. But that is out there and around. All right, let me have a look here. Crunch, they are jacking the prices up on absolutely everything. I went in to a servo the other day, and yes, I'm drinking my juices and I'm trying to do the right thing with what I'm eating, but you know what habits are like, right? So an old habit, one I didn't act on, but a habit it must be because I did it straight away. I walked into this servo and walked straight past the chip aisle, right, where you get your twisties and your chicken chips. Now, a 90-gram packet of, I don't know what they were, plain chips, was $5.50. I nearly died. That's what you used to pay for the big packets of chips. So then how much were the big packets of chips? They were $9. $9. Who in their right mind's going to spend money buying shit like that for $9? God almighty. Anyway, thankfully, not me. I went home and had a carrot. No, I've been a bit more inspiring than that. Did a magnificent silver side the other night, and did it in a pressure cooker, so it didn't take 3 hours. I have been known to sacrifice silver sides before. Had a brain fade while I had one on once and walked out the front door, came back an hour and a half later, and it had sacrificed itself, and along with all the water, it had, oh God, it was just awful. Can I just say that all the fat that should have been on the outside of it was, it got so hot, it vaporized and all went up into the range hood, and what didn't go into the range hood just clung to every surface in the kitchen. It was, without doubt, about the most horrible cleanup job I've ever had anything to do with. God, it stank. So don't ever boil your silver side dry, folks. I've never left home again with one cooking. And now I like the pressure cooker. That works out pretty well. I am bringing a barbecue tomorrow. There is going to be plenty of a barbecue fare, I'm led to believe. So I will be one of the chefs. And I'm bringing some other implements of destruction too. So I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody there. I can't see too many other questions here. I'm going to love you and leave you and sneak off. I want to hit the road tonight, and I've still got a few things I need to pack. So we'll get on with doing that. Sorry, just reading a couple of these comments here. Yes, so one of the things I'm sure that they'll do on the 27 acres that they've got at the community village at Tewantin will be plant some vegetables. With 27 acres, you've got to think there's got to be room for some spuds and some carrots and maybe some celery, onions, great stuff, onions. You never know, there might be room for a bit of livestock. Don't know how it's zoned, but, you know, the problem with livestock is kids get attached to them. And you get the kids involved in feeding them and, you know, keeping them all out. And then one day they come back on a plate and that can be traumatic. So I have to think about that. I'll let Camillo and the My Place team deal with that one. All right, folks, love you and leave you tonight. Please be safe on the roads if you're going out there. You know my feeling on those dickheads. And if you are going to come and help us tomorrow at Tewantin, would love to see you. So come up, say hi. Please bring a hat, bring gloves, bring a rake, bring a shovel, bring a broom, bring a blower, bring a mower, bring a bobcat if you can. That'd be great. Anything like that would be just wonderful. Like I say, I don't know about heavier stuff. I don't know about, you know, lopping trees and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's required. But yeah, gloves, eye protection, hat. Going to be out in the sun, so make sure you slip, slop, slap. Look after yourself. Of course, if you're going to slip, slop, slap, use the natural stuff, not the shit that's going to give you cancer. God, I'm all full of advice tonight, aren't I? Let's hope I can follow some of it tomorrow. Love you lots, folks. Look forward to catching you tomorrow. It's going to be a big day at 24 Koroy-Noosa Road in Tewantin when we start cleaning up the community village. Watch out for those dickheads on the roads.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!